So to get started today, The Little Mermaid just keeps being it's a well of hilarity to talk about.
Every press article for this effing movie,
To be fair,
every time has the preamble about the racist trolls. Every single time without fail.
Yep. To be fair, they love to do this, and they set them up for failure by doing this.
I mean, they do, but can you really not place some of the blame on Halle Bailey, who gives them the answers they want every single time, gives them the quotes that they want and the headlines they want? She's playing into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think 110% that she just
she doesn't know better, sure, but.
No, actually, I think she knows better. I think she's media. I don't think Disney, a company the size of Disney, sends her out there without media.
I was going to say, I don't think there's any reason for her not to play into it, right?
Yeah.
She gets to look as the victim, which we know is the most important thing in modern culture, and they get the sound bites they want, so they're more likely to interview with her. Like, it would be an act of integrity and honestly a nuanced view of the world to not say these lines, and I just don't think that she has that. And even if she did, there's no reason to claim that to the world in the industry that she's in.
So here's actually what she said. It says Halle Bailey says her version of Ariel is a more nuanced than the original Little Mermaid.
Stealing my words
We've
here.
definitely changed that perspective of her wanting to leave the ocean for a boy. It's way bigger than that. It's about herself, her purpose, her freedom, her life, and what she wants.
I hate this narrative that you can't change your life for a boy or a man. Crazy.
Yeah.
I had this conversation recently with a friend. We were at a bachelorette party and just catching up on her life, and she was saying that, you know, she has a long-distance boyfriend. He's going to move to the city she's in, and her manager at her big corporate job was kind of asking her about it, trying to see if she's like going to leave her company. She's like, you know, are you feeling like because she wants to like move on to a less demanding project. She's like, well, is this because your boyfriend's moving down here? And she was like, I had to tell her, like, no, it's for me. And I looked at my friend and I was like,
she had to
also,
explain
it would be
herself.
good if you weren't at work for 12 hours a day so that you can be with this guy who's moving across country to be with you.
It's a little bit of an invasive question,
also,
too.
that seems totally normal. Like, if you told me that all you want to do with your life is work, I mean, I pressure Brett about this all the time. Like, no, get a life, start a family. like you have a life, but at least start a romantic connection with someone that potentially could bring you a family and, you know, the nuclear element of society that we all need so desperately. Like this idea that
Now I feel called out.
Yeah, I was like, what are you
Start
doing?
a family, Brett. Why don't you?
Do you really tell him that?
Oh yeah, constantly. I think publicly on air. It's just because I think Brett's great and he tells me
Well, how
all
do you
these
know he
stories.
hasn't done that?
It's
really secretive.
Brett is. I'm like.
Yeah, maybe I'm just very private.
It's gonna be like this thing where Brett like brings a girl to work and is like, "Look, Hannah Claire, like I have a serious girlfriend
This is
now."
my wife.
And then
I'll freak out.
And
It'll
then
be
she
great.
has to be, and then I have to be like, "Don't worry, I'm not parading you around just to prove a point." Like,
No, I'll be like so excited. I'll be like, let me tell you these adorable stories about Brett as a potential future hockey dad. Like, it's great. It's because I believe in you. I think you're great.
Thank you.
And I think you would make a very nice husband to someone. And I really think that you would be an excellent hockey dad. I think this idea that it's antiquated for Ariel to be leaving the ocean for a man is just stupid. Like, good. Let her start a family and sacrifice and show women that occasionally you can't have it all and you should prioritize having this lifelong bond with someone. Like, why is that a bad
problem is
message?
they've demonized it on every level. Like, where every relationship prior to Single Ladies and Independent Woman by Destiny's Child has been framed as coercive, controlling, and
It
patriarchal.
wasn't even that long before that Destiny's Child era. It was 1989 when we were like still fully in feminist girl power status quo. And I don't think that the original movie was all that sexist like they're saying in this article.
Also, I being a feminist, being independent, getting your bag queen, and any all other things that apply to that doesn't even inherently make you more interesting. If anything, you're just doing what all the men are doing. Why would anybody care? You're just like everyone else.
And you're probably less emotionally fulfilled. I mean,
Yes.
we say it all the time, but you know, having a corporate job and having that type of professional accolade and success, like great for you if you want them, but the emotional bonds that you create with real life people, your, you know, husband,
more
your spouse,
interesting
your children,
story-wise
your
to
relation
me.
to your family, whatever, like that makes you a better character, shall we say, right? Like main characters in TV shows don't spend all day at their corporate job. They have relationships with people, and that's what's interesting.
I did in fact.
ChatGPT had a take on this.
Yes, I asked ChatGPT
Never asked
whether
ChatGPT
I asked
for his opinion.
ChatGPT. Whether or not being in movies, does it being a feminist make a character inherently more interesting than a non-feminist character? And it gives a very reasonable answer. It says, if a character's feminist beliefs are a key aspect of their personality and are integrated into the story in a meaningful way, it can make them more interesting and relatable to audiences who share those values. On the other hand, if a character's feminism is portrayed as a token or superficial aspect of their personality, it may come across as pandering or inauthentic, which could detract from the overall appeal.
ChatGPT said that?
Ultimately, what makes a character interesting is their unique personality, motivations, and experiences, and how they interact with the world around them. While a character's feminist beliefs may contribute to these factors, they are not the only defining characteristic that makes a character interesting or compelling.
I think you should follow up with how many people are compelled by feminist storylines.
Exactly.
Like
right?
what it's going to say next is like, well, everyone loves feminism.
It's based AI, somebody says in the
Yeah.
chat. You're right.
I was
It absolutely is.
gonna
And you know what this goes back to, Mary? It goes back to that song, to that Ava
That's
Max
based?
song,
That's just
which,
like an obvious
which I will push back on that
This
song.
show has a vendetta against Ava Max
In
and
this
all
song.
of
I
her
don't know who that
songs.
is.
She wrote "Not Your Barbie Girl."
And I have severe First of all, it's a ripoff of the masterpiece Barbie Girl by Aqua, which should just be left alone.
Yeah.
No
and
one could come close to that. let's
the
be honest.
idea,
Wasn't
the
there a
idea that
movie?
they take.
Oh my gosh! Will you do a cover of Aqua's
No.
Barbie? Well, because it's too much of a song. I get you.
She does in fact say that she can take herself on a dinner date, and I'm like, that's not the point of
You
a date.
can buy yourself food.
That's
I'm
just
so happy
going.
for
That's
you.
just
Can buy
going
yourself
out to
flowers.
eat by yourself.
That's just eating alone.
That's
man.
just eating
It's
by
not a
yourself.
date.
That's not a. It's like they've completely destroyed the ability for the sexes to court one another.
Yeah, I also-
and these in movies like The Little Mermaid are ground zero for pushing that narrative on kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. It's not good.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. I mean, in this case, with the dinner date example, the point of going to dinner with someone is to talk to them and get to know
Yes!
them, right? Like, I think you're missing the point. They're equating dating to be like getting financial or like beneficial compensation for spending time with someone, which, like, I'm sorry, that's prostitution.
Yeah.
Like, what you're saying is like, I could buy my own dinner. Well, cool, girl. I'm happy for you. But should you get to know
You could buy
anyone
someone
better?
else's dinner too.
No,
She also
wouldn't.
says
That's
you
a
can't
feminist.
you can't touch me there, you can't touch my body. You couldn't do that when the original Barbie, that was wrong then too. It's weird, dude.
This song better not be in the soundtrack of the Barbie
It
movie.
better not.
I'll be furious.
We got a chat from Steve Ryman.
Okay, Steve Ryman said, "The time has come," the walrus said, "to talk of many things, of ships and sails and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings." Lewis Carroll, random interruptions are best.
That is
That's
good.
awesome.
I like
Thank you
it.
for the random interruption.
I liked it.
I
I
love
could
that.
visualize.
We have
the
another
entire
one from
thing there,
Herrick
'cause it was from
Ribeiro.
Alice in Wonderland.
He said, relating to yesterday, watch Futurama's Jurassic Bark if you want to cry. Saddest episode in TV history. Long-time listener and first time watching live. I'm a welder in Germany and you make my mornings go by much faster.
Awesome. Dude, that is
Wow,
so
we have such
awesome.
a diverse audience.
That's really
See,
cool.
we're
Genuine diversity
Real
here
diversity
at Pop
here.
Culture Crisis, not just representation of your skin color.
it's
All lines of work, all nationalities.
I just look. I was ranting to Mary about this song the other day, like for longer than I should have been, because I do feel that in a lot of ways they want to destroy everything that made life good. And Tim even talks a lot about how the '90s was like the peak of our culture, and they're out to destroy it. We got one more.
Oh, because Reasons said Barbie Girl played over the loudspeaker at Waukesha West, Wisconsin back in '98, I think. We all just looked at each other like, what the F was that?
What it was, my friend, was a masterpiece in the making that became a classic. And there's no reason to make
Is it really only from 1998?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Late
Oh,
90s.
okay.
And
Thought it
it's
was older than that.
But songs like this, they push narcissism, right? They push the idea that you don't need anyone else. The idea isn't that you're supposed to need another person. The idea is supposed to be that you want to be with another person and build a life together. They've destroyed the idea of partnership between the sexes as a form of building a family,
We've
which
got another one
inherently
from
becomes
Nate
part of the
Parrott.
community.
He said, Lance Reddick voiced the character Zavala in Destiny. Shortly after his passing, a ton of players gathered around his character in the hub world as a sort of vigil. Was nice to see.
Yes, it is. And he's one of those actors that, like, it's really funny. We talked about the Resident Evil remake and how bad it was. And it's like, you know how they like to call audiences racist for not liking race swaps? You can tell when they like the actor because when when the Resident Evil remake on Netflix came out and Lance Reddick was in it, and nobody liked it, you could tell that everyone was going out of their way to point out, like, look, I love Lance Reddick because Lance Reddick is great, but this show is not good. Proving to you that it's not about race. It's about whether the actor's good at their job. And when you race swap a character, you're going to get more leeway when the actor is a beloved member of the community. So it's kind of an interesting way to look at that. It's why I believe that race swaps get more leeway when actors are better known. Now, there was nothing saving that Resident Evil remake, but in general, if the actor's better known, people are more likely to be like, well, I can see why they did it because that's a well-known actor that people like. So. Back to my point. They're ruining America with this crap. They are.
It's definitely going to backfire when all of these little girls grow up after being essentially vilified and demeaned for their femininity. Yep. Like, I saw a tweet the other day of someone saying they were bringing their daughter to a ballet class, like a very young girl, like in toddler age. And these other parents in this yuppie area were saying, you know, I wish that she were into something, you know, like some sport or something a little more.
They want to subvert your expectations. They want whatever.
A little less stereotypical, you know?
My favorite.
Or I'm sure she'll grow out of it, all of that stuff.
Yeah, my favorite tweet from all of this is there was this dad that was like, I really took the advice on not, accidentally putting too many stereotypes into my daughter's life seriously. So, we bought her a bunch of dinosaurs, and we bought her a bunch of Tonka trucks, and he has a picture of it, and it's like Tonka trucks tucked into some sort of Barbie bed, like she is putting her trucks to sleep. He was like, I guess you just can't fight it, right? Like it might as well have been a baby doll because her imagination is telling her whatever her brain wants to think about. You know what I mean? I think this idea that your kids are a reflection of your parenting values, and so therefore you should convert your values to ostensibly show that you are conforming to the world is so disruptive. I think it isolates parents from their kids, right? Like this parent that you're talking about is essentially resenting their child for following their interests. Like how can we in the same breath have this culture that says be who you are, live your truth, etc., except also when you do the things that are authentically you, I won't like them.
They also point out that she did an interview recently with Variety where she kind of crumbles her own narrative, where she points out that she looked up to the original Ariel, and whenever she'd go swimming, she would think of herself as her. I was like, so it doesn't matter.
So it didn't bother you at all back then?
No, it didn't. So it goes to prove that it's a narrative that ends up collapsing in on itself when you put any thought into it. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.